All right, guys, making a video here, Eagles related, I guess, obviously, because the playoff game just ended and the Eagles won it. The score, though, is very misleading. 22-10 is what the Eagles won by, but that was a body bag game if I ever saw one. I don't even know how many Packers went out that game. I'm kind of like looking at some stats here, but it was a crazy, weird game. So the game started out, and it actually looked like the Packers fumbled it on the opening kickoff, and it actually looked like the Packers recovered it, but they gave it to the Eagles. They showed it multiple times, and it was really hard to tell, but there was more evidence that the Packers recovered it than the Eagles recovered it. So right off the bat, I kind of feel like the refs might have screwed the Packers there, but that didn't really matter because as the game went on, the Packers just made mistake after mistake. Like I thought the Chargers were bad with drops, but my goodness, the Packers do not know how to catch balls, and so there was just a lot of weird things. It was 10-0 for a long time in this game, and when the Eagles got that opening fumble, they scored. He threw it to Dotson. I think that was Dotson's first ever touchdown on the Eagles. Jahan Dotson, I think is how you say his name. We got him from the Redskins this offseason. But, yeah, after that touchdown, we got the field goal. And Jake Elliott missed another point, by the way. So I love Jake Elliott, as you guys know. If you guys are like longtime viewers, going way back, Jake Elliott's like... he's like one of my favorite Eagles of all time. But they might have to seriously start looking for a new kicker, guys, because he just hasn't looked good this year. He's almost like 50-50 now. I hate to say it like that, but like I literally don't know if he's going to get it or not. And it literally just feels like a coin flip whether he's going to get it or not. So they might have to seriously look into addressing that in the offseason, because I don't know. I think Jake's time is close to done. So there was that as well. Missing a stupid point. You know, it did start to feel too, because it was 16-10 when he missed that, and it just was starting to feel like, oh my gosh, the Packers are going to beat us 17-16 or something like that. But like I said, this was a body bag game. There were just players that kept getting injured. Dobbs on the Packers went down. Many others, too many to name, because like I swear like 10 Packers went down in this game. And the Eagles the same. We lost Nakobe Dean. That's a huge loss going forward. They said it's a knee, so he might be done, guys. He might be done. Darius Slay, as usual, he can never really like finish a game, but you know, he went into the locker room, he came back out and played. So like he's just getting old. I've always defended with my friends at the gym. I've always defended Slay because, you know, he's getting old, and it just is what it is. It's like Jake Elliott. Like, you just have to replace these guys. And Darius Slay had an amazing interception this game. It was one of the best I've ever seen, because it looked like he was the Packers wide receiver. That's how effortless it was. He just was running, caught it, easy. And so, I know I'm like all over the place. I'm not, it's kind of how I'm going to do these videos now. I'm not going to just do like a, you know, do breakdown. I'm just going to kind of ramble, because I assume you guys have watched the game, right? Like, you wouldn't be here to get an entire, you know, highlight reel. You can go watch that on YouTube as the highlight reel or whatever. You're here to get the commentary. So I'm kind of all over the place, but the huge deal of this game for me, like the biggest deal, was Quinyon Mitchell finally got an interception. So that was cool to see, and it was a game sealer. It was right at the end. They're saying that it was a PI on Zach Bond, but I didn't see it. I saw the highlights. You know, he was touching, but he wasn't holding. He was just doing the tip, and his head was moving around. He wasn't not trying to look at the ball. So whatever, people are gonna say that. I get it. Like I said, I made the case. Like, I agree that the refs ruined this game, or this sport. but they do it for every team. So, I mean, the Eagles are going to get, like I said, the one for me with this game was the fumble. I don't think the Eagles got that fumble, but whatever. And the weird thing about that is without that fumble, I mean, we still win the game, actually, but you take 7 off the board, and it's a much closer game. But yeah, we would still win, actually, so whatever. The fumble was the fumble, but it was a pretty crazy fumble because it was like right at the beginning of the game. The Packers didn't even get... We got 2 opening possessions this game, guys. We got it at the beginning and in the halftime because that's just the way it went because of that fumble. So that was another thing that kind of bothered me about this game with the amount... This is what I'm really going to get into the most for this video, is that with the amount of turnovers and just how well our defense played, it was really starting to drive me absolutely crazy how bad this offense looked. And I don't think this was Kellen Moore, guys. I think old Nick Sirianni was pulling some of his crap again, because this offense was looking a little bit like last year at its worst. If you guys remember, after the 49ers game, obviously the Eagles just like couldn't do anything. And that's what's so weird about this team is that like, I'm glad they won, because I was starting to think, like, if they lose this, they're like the Peyton Manning Colts, you know. They're like one and done. They're you know, they got to a Super Bowl but never again. And you know, they won a playoff game that wasn't the Super Bowl year, so that's good. But I don't know, man. Jalen Hurts, I'm not really gonna hate on him because I think he really did have a concussion. You know, I might have to roll back my previous statements. You know, when I say things on here, they're not definitive. They're just kind of... It was one of two things. Either he really did have a concussion and he's still kind of messed up, or he was rusty, because he literally had like almost a whole month off, guys. I mean, that's probably the more likely scenario, to be honest. I think the concussion was, you know, overplayed. He probably did get some kind of head injury in the Redskins game, but I still remember, you know, he was thumbing up the ref, and then the refs made him leave. It was a really weird situation, so I don't really know completely what happened in that Redskins game, but this to me just looked like rust. And I think if sorry, I'm going so much. I'm just like thinking of like how the possible... I think what they're saying is that if the Bucks win tonight, we would play the Bucks, but we can't play the Redskins because they're the lowest seed, which means they would go to the Lions. The Lions get to play like the weakest team, supposedly. And so we basically get to play the Bucks if they win, and if they don't win, then Vikings or Rams. And so what I'm thinking is, like, after this game, will the Eagles be able to show up, like really show up, you know? And I know it's playoffs. I don't really care. A win is a win, you know? They can bang themselves up all the way to the Super Bowl, right? Like, we can win the Super Bowl 10-9 with Jalen limping over for like a final TD, and I wouldn't care as long as the Super Bowl was won. But I'm just wondering about the longevity, because it's still 3 games, and the playoffs is the playoffs. This was a body bag game, guys. I mean, this is what you expect in playoff football, but this is going to be every week now for the month. And so I'm just wondering if Jalen can take it, because there was like 3 or 4 plays, I mean, really weird plays, like they lined up for the tush push on a 3rd and 1, and they went back and threw it, which I didn't even hate the play. I thought it was a good ballsy Nick move, because it was 3rd down, and to be honest, AJ almost caught it. He was in the vicinity. Hurts just kind of overthrew him a bit, so didn't mind that, but it was still weird. And then they do the tush push anyway. Just a lot of weird Hurts scrambles. Something the Packers were doing all game is they were like lining up and blitzing. And when we finally broke away from that, actually, was when Dallas Goedert got the touchdown. He had like 2 or 3 stiff arms. That was another amazing moment. It's like weird. See, as much criticism I have, this game was there's still a lot to like in the game, as far as just the team coming together. Not a lot of Saquon. I was a little surprised by that as well. He was starting to get really mad too, and he got like a penalty. I think it was, I don't even know what it was. It was like roughing him or something, and he goes like this. It was kind of funny. But he was pretty mad. You could tell he was on the sideline, like yelling at people. And I don't know, guys. It's just a weird game. I'm kind of all over the place. I apologize, but like I said, if you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. Like what can be taken away from this game is the Eagles basically took a vacation for an entire month because they played the Cowboys and the Giants, and those were like preseason games. We just played a bunch of scrubs, and so this is like the first real game that this Eagles team has played since the Redskins game, I would say. And so it showed. It was very rusty, and hopefully this is not an omen for things to come. Hopefully they shook off the rust against a very broken Packers team. That's another thing to say, is that I'm not taking anything away from the Packers here, because they were completely busted and they still hung in there until the bitter end in many respects. Like pretty much till the about the middle of the fourth quarter. That was the time when the Eagles kind of broke away. But the Packers were in it, guys, for most of the game. I got to give them respect for that, and they are broken. Like I said, I don't even know how many went down. It had to have been like 10 Packers went down. Another concerning thing is it looked like Devontae Smith was limping. I didn't see after that, so hopefully he's not injured. That would be huge. But yeah, it was a body bag game on the Packers side, but the Eagles got banged up, right? Like Slay went in. Nakobe Dean is probably done. And it's just all around, just an ugly game. Ugly, in the trenches type of game. Both offenses could barely get anything done. It was very much a defensive battle. And but yeah, like I said, the Packers, they were doing this blitz thing, which I've never actually seen a team do this consistently. It was kind of interesting to watch, because they did it on like 5 or 6 plays until the Eagles figured it out with that Dallas Goedert touchdown. But they kept blitzing Hurts, and man, Hurts was getting beat up. Like there was a play where Hurts was like running sideways, and they grabbed him and like flip. This was the weirdest thing too, is they do these Hurts runs where it's like he's 5 yards behind and he runs and he gets like 1 or 2 yards, but like the bodily cost, guys, to Hurts is like, why are you doing this? Because yeah, like Hurts, he got like flipped around, he landed on his head. You know, I'm starting to know what Hurt. Like he'll go like this, he'll be like. That's how you know that Hurts like got hit, is he does this weird grimace. It's the only time you really see emotion out of the guy, is he does these like grimaces. And so yeah, he was getting hit a lot, and maybe he does have a concussion. I mean, I have no clue at this point. But like I said, I just think it was rust, because he just looked like Jalen in many ways. Like it's what I expect out of this guy. I mean, he is a winner, but he's also a very ugly winner. He'll have like amazing games, but then he'll have games like this. You know, if I was going to compare this to a game, it was like that Jets game last year, the one that we lost. That's what this felt like. It was just kind of like, I didn't know. I was like, I feel like we should win, but like, you just never know. You never know with Jalen Hurts. And Sirianni too. Like I think Sirianni was calling the plays, because it was pretty juvenile. It just didn't look good. And I don't know. There's like rumors that Kellen Moore is gone after this playoff run. If we win the Super Bowl, he's for sure gone. Or even if we even get to the Super Bowl, he's gone. The good news is though, is Vic Fangio said he's not leaving. He like actually wants to stay. So that's amazing that we're gonna have like a consistent defensive coordinator, probably since Jim Schwartz, to be honest. Like it'll be good to have a solid guy for years to come. And I don't know, I might make a whole video about this later on if things materialize, but I've been floating around the idea in my own head that the Eagles should, if Kellen goes, the Eagles should bring Doug Peterson back. I think that'd be cool as OC, just to have him come back. And you know, you already coached Jalen, so it would be kind of interesting. But anyway, I'm rambling. The video's 15 minutes now, and so I'll kind of cut it there. But yeah, they got it done, guys. It was ugly win. I think I went over basically everything. You know, the defense looked good. They were getting gassed, obviously, because they were playing their hearts out, and the offense just not great. But you're playing against an absolutely broken Packers team that couldn't get over themselves as well. So you came out with the win. Let's hope that they fix this. They clean this up going into next week. Whoever we play, before I leave, we'll check the score here. Oh, crap. It's on commercials. I'm such a professional, guys. Whatever. It's not showing the score. I'm going to leave this. I've got the Tampa Bay game up here, but yeah, like I said, if the Bucks win, then we play them. At least that's what I'm. Yeah, so the Bucks are up 3-0 right now. So if the Bucks win, we're probably going to play them, which I don't really want to play the Bucks, but I did predict that it would happen that way. But I don't know. The Bucks are spooky. They're a spooky team. That number 67 is wearing one of those safety helmets. Those are the stupidest things ever. It looks like they're wearing one of those like foam fan helmets. It's such a dumb thing. Whatever. I'm sorry, completely random. But yeah, that's all it is. I was ending the video. So anyway, that's it. And I probably won't make another video until they win or lose. If I make another video, it'll be about like something completely random. But I mean, as far as like a game video, I'll make it after the playoff game. We basically have three possible teams: Bucks, Rams, Vikings, and the Rams and the Vikings play tomorrow. So really, any three of those teams, I'm confident that they can win. But out of all of them, the Rams would be the one that I'd want to face the most, just because we match up well against the Rams. We always have. The Bucks are starting to become a cursed team. I don't want to play them anymore. The NFL actually scheduled us to play them again next year in Tampa. It's getting ridiculous. Feel like they're like part of the division now. We see them so often. And then the Vikings, we have usually pretty good luck against the Vikings, but they're very different now because they have Sam Darnold. They don't have Kirk Cousins. So anyway, guys, that is the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.